Welcome everybody to our live stream here on lichess Twitch. International Master William Pascal. It's Friday, guys. Time for some Blitz challenges with commentary. I'm taking challenges 5 plus 3 casual, 5 minutes plus 3-second increment. Casual challenges here on lichess. The only place I believe to play chess truly great on the internet. Let me send a message here to my faithful friends. Going live with Blitz. Blitz challenges. Alright, what's up, Schieberspieler? Tough opponent for the first game. I need a little bit of a miracle. Alright, Schieberspieler. Not warmed up yet. Let's go. What's up, guys? Morning. Posted. Alright. Is that all I've got, Schieberspieler? One high-rated FIDE master. Let's get another challenge out there. Free up storage space. Your computer is lowing run on storage space. Is running low on storage space. Visit storage settings to free some up. I'll keep that in mind, computer. Thank you for the update. Troll can't challenge me? Oh shit, only friends can challenge. Thanks, Troll. I'm sorry, guys. We had privacy mode enabled. Always. Done. Troll, try again. There was this actual troll harassing me earlier this week. They would just like comment at me with like 6 different accounts, challenge me repeatedly. Normally I don't turn off the challenges there, but Schieberspieler snuck in front of the others because he's my friend. Get the special friend treatment. WJLoof, up late or up early? Schieberspieler trolling a roll. Sumitra and Nitishivasu, which I can't say. Alright. I tried, guys. But you have long names, and they're hard to say. Actually, everybody has a long name. Schieberspieler, the troll on the roll. Sumil Mitra, and Nitish Shivasu. And that's, you know, the minimum is like 11 letters. Can we make longer names? Let's see. Mine is just 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, actually. Not bad. There is Luau. I remember that. That's a record setting. Shorter name. Reformed. You've been reformed quite a few times already. I'm not sure how well the Reformation is working. Allegedly reformed according to you. Alright, we've got 9 challenges now. Man, I should have left it turned off. WJ Live with a donation. Up late, hour 22. 500 bits donated. Thank you, guys. You've only been reformed once, and I must have had you mixed up with another reformer. Schieberspieler. Now I have the one in challenges. Alright, so 5 plus 3 casual. There's someone trying to sneak in a 3 plus 2. My only requirement is that you have an established account with 100 or more Blitz games. I'm not interested in how many bullet games people have. The Blitz is a little more reliable. Alright, Schieberspieler, troll in a roll. Let's do troll in a roll. Little brief warm up. Chess 960 is allowed but not preferred. I mean, I'm letting troll get away with this. I personally prefer normal chess. I don't know. Dr. Tripchance, once I've played someone enough games, it doesn't matter anymore. But I'm just saying, for new people, if they don't have 100 games, I can't trust them. Actually, it's most important for simuls, because people tend to drop out of my simuls. But I've kind of enforced this rule for other things like the team. The Blitz Challenge Day, it's not as important probably as Simul's, but still, it's a good general rule to take the challengers who have 1,000 games. I'm getting close to 20,000, I think. I'm right up there in the high 19,000s. We'll put up a big clickbait like these other streamers do. The 20,000th game. Anything for attention. I've never been the kind of person who really likes attention. I guess I shouldn't be a streamer. I don't feed on attention. E3. 3,000 in Blitz. I wish I was 3,000 in Blitz. That'd be cool. I almost got to 3,000 in Blitz on ICC years ago. I was painfully close, but couldn't get it over like 2960 or something. In my prime, I was a bit stronger than I am now, so it's not inconceivable in those days at least. Troll on a roll with a good opening here. The center. I like Troll's fundamentals. You had someone on sound play you for game 3000? Who's game 3000? Your game 3000? I assume. Destroy center. Now, is this central pawn on d4 a strength or a weakness? Or both? That's cool. Someone on sound is strong. I think he's, he doesn't really have a reliable rating here. But he's stronger in slower games. He's not really a Blitz player, though he plays Blitz. I think he'd be better at, like, tournament time controls. Troll does an excellent job of using his pawns to control the center and the opening. Feet picks. Is that what's going on now? We'll trade feet picks for GameStop. Why would anybody buy stock in a game store? Game stores and movie theaters? How are they both even still in existence, honestly? Brick and mortar game stores and movie theaters are like brontosauruses. That's like Radio Shack. I was sorry to see Radio Shack go, but it was like inevitable. Just random talking here about current events sometimes, just to mix it up a little bit. Okay, knight f6. Can I hit this again? At my own risk. I've never done like online stock trading. One of our viewers was talking about it yesterday. If I get a note for work, please excuse WJ Lou from coming to work today. He needs to study his endgame theory. Endgame theory. I don't know if they're going to buy that. We need something a little more murky and vague, I think. Your dad trades Forex. Well, Forex is a different story, but similar in principle. I'm curious about, online stock trading. All right. Boom. D3 just... I feel very concerned about this situation. man. All right. This feels wrong. I'm moving my bishop to a3 on a cheapo mission. I'm getting desperate though. You were Radio Shack manager? Seriously? I loved Radio Shack. So sad, but it did feel inevitable. That's crazy, man. Did you tell me that? Did you tell us that before? It's too weird a coincidence. You must have mentioned it before, and somewhere it was like... It was somewhere deep in my subconscious. Location is everything. Wow. This doesn't feel right for white. I'm moving my bishop again. It was already on a good diagonal. But I couldn't find a good move, so I played this cheap shot, threatening knight e7 check. I noticed he didn't really have a great way to defend e7, but it's not really a plan. What happens if h6? He has another happy diagonal. But he can defend d3. I mean, d3 is protected. I have knight e7 and takes on c8, though. I just realized that doesn't really work for him. I'm actually threatening to just take on c8 and take his pawn on d3. And if I get the pawn on d3, then the black position loses a lot of its promise. Wow. Unexpected. Castle. Wow. What can you say? So I can take the exchange or check first, take on c8, and then take the exchange. Or you just get the d3 pawn. Let's get the d3 pawn first. And because that's cramping me, we should take the rook and then take the d3 pawn. Let's not be irrational. Black has very little compensation for this. Wow. Wow again. I can play for mate. No, that's covered. This is covered. This is covered. I want to play knight f7 mate. Asterbate. Now I need knight g5. Do the ogre thing. Dr. Tripchance, you're acting like the little kid from Shrek 4 or whatever it was. Alright. King g2. Do the roar! Do the roar! King g2. What are we going to do? Should always stay mute. Wait, Hungary is a part of the Netherlands? Why don't you live in Netherlands? Any other interesting questions? Are you in the Netherlands? Well, not really. I've been to the Netherlands once. I was in the airport in Amsterdam. Alright. Sumil Mitra. King g2 was devastating. This was probably sound for black, actually, up until a point. Not when he gave up the rook, but I like the opening. And white was really spatially in trouble. Was I not worse here? I figured I was worse. I was worse earlier in the opening. Okay, so here he has to take toward the center with CD. Apparently this is far superior. Keeping this pawn on e5, troll. I don't know what you were thinking. You of all people who specializes in the importance of central pawns should understand. He just couldn't resist this open diagonal for his bishop. But more central pawns is better. Sumitra. Do the roar. Do the rook trick.
No!
Alright. Sorry. Do you know, every time I tried to act fancy and, like, not every time, but the last couple of times I blundered stalemates when I tried to troll people like that. I almost never do it, but if someone is really ignorant and will never resign, like, I've done it in, I think I did it in Over the Board games in the old days at the club, where I just, like, they wouldn't resign down 5 pieces, so I just started promoting to, like, knights and bishops and stuff. Everybody who's played, like, tons of games has probably had a story like that. This f4 is an interesting move. Marius Kirakesh. Oh, this is the guy who's, like, psychopathic. I forgot. It's not a Sveshnikov, but it's similar. It was a classical, so-called classical Sicilian. I lost this game in Romania to this FIDE master, Karakesh, once, in this only game I've ever played in this variation. But I don't remember what I did. Oh, I guess it was e5, knight f3. That's the best move for white. He's supposed to play knight f3. In all those cases, your stories end up with you being flagged. In all my cases, over the board it was okay. When I did it here, there were 2 times when I, like, was messing around and I stalemated. It was really embarrassing. Don't troll your opponent, even if they are a jerk. I guess that's the moral of the story. Alright, this is... My opponent is totally over the top. Too aggressive, I would say. They're also not 1200. I mean, they seem too good to be 1200. We've already been through this, so I won't say it again, but black, I don't know, white plays another game against me really weirdly, where he eventually lost, but it was definitely not 1200. 1200 is just like drop pieces and stuff. He's actually kind of scary sometimes. Maybe he does eventually drop pieces, but not so easily. That actually reminds me of another game I lost. I am going to take this pawn, however. Normally it goes against my principles. Grabbing poison b2 pawns, but here his king is just too exposed. King d2. Not so easy. First of all, Well, I just try to teach people that it's proper sportsmanship to resign in a prompt fashion, which is what I was taught. Especially if you get to play a stronger player, you don't want to just like waste their time. Maybe you could play another game and actually learn something instead of like dragging out the game 100 moves. Play another game, Schnoofy. No, we're not doing takebacks. No takebacks. Casual games. Only in rated. Life is too short for takebacks. Unless it's me and I made a mouse slip. But that rook didn't matter. Alright, we got lots of challenges. Lu Ao. Ow! The Slav. I love the Slav. It's so much fun. It's almost as much fun as the London system. But the extra tempo makes it a little more interesting. Yeah, this is weird, dude. Did you play this against me before? Who plays this move? Nobody plays that move. Are you serious? That is strange. Is that the same thing that happened last time? Couldn't be. That's a different opening. So it's the London system with both colors? No matter what? That's your opening repertoire? That's pretty sick, man. You should play a different game. Maybe, Chutes and Ladders, or like, Battleship, Parcheesi, Tic-Tac-Toe. GM Tranquilizer, the only thing more boring than playing Puzzle Storm is watching someone play Puzzle Storm. Yes, I did try it, though. But you could do that on a lot of other sites. You know, there was this chesstactics.org or something like that. I mean, they're just like, they basically brought it over from one of these other sites. I've done the same stuff. I think it was Chess Tactics. You guys remember? It's cool, but I wouldn't want to stream doing puzzles. That's sort of insipid. We made a joke yesterday. Puzzle streams are like golf. And then we get people who are all defensive about golf, watching golf. It's like watching golf. I mean to clarify. Please don't invite me to your teams. Alright. Speaking of teams, I don't think our team is, I don't think our team thing is going on this Sunday. Yeah, for $1,000. That's the worst, man. When the people like send me messages like their team tournament has prizes, I'm sure. Of course it has prizes. We'll send it right along. It'll be there in the mail. The check is in the mail. And what happened here to Luau? Watching sports is not bad. Well, obviously. I mean, I'm kind of sarcastic about the London system. And I know people like golf. Okay. What else? Formula One. I mean, maybe it's not that bad. I remember watching the Indianapolis 500 when I was a little kid. You can only watch the cars go around in the same circle like so many times till it gets kind of old. Cricket, okay, I'm an American and I like baseball, and I understand when people make fun of baseball. But it's not as bad as golf. Like, it's not even close. Golf is 10 times worse. Seriously, at least there's some action in baseball. But I mean, golf is like watching the grass grow, literally. Cricket is probably similar to baseball. But I mean, auto racing's been around for a long time, obviously. You have to kind of get into it, I guess. It's kind of exciting in a way. There's fast moving cars. Could be worse. But I'm just talking about this doing puzzles on the stream. I can't imagine that's interesting. Maybe if you like really analyze them for beginners to understand the mechanism of, for people to get better and understand the mechanism of solving puzzles, tactics, but to like do speed runs of tactics, that's like, I don't know, Andrew Tang, what's his name, Ray Robson. That's fun for them to maybe do them, like an adrenaline rush, but I don't see how anyone else can really get anything out of that. I mean, what's watching someone else like do these puzzles instantly? You wouldn't even be able to understand what they're thinking. Like, what's the point? It can be used for betting. Now we start to see an angle. That makes it much more interesting. Turn it into a betting game. Now you're adding another interesting element. But I think it's still really, really flat compared to normal playing of chess. This is a bad move by white. Should I take on e3? We've been here before. I had a very similar position in the Marazzi the other day. That's amazing. Knight takes e3, knight takes d8, knight takes d1. Now what happens if knight f7? Knight f7, knight c3, knight h8. I'm not sure about that. I guess his knight would get trapped on h8. So I could take on e3 or just take on c6. I've played this position before. It's been a while. There is some question, though, because no one plays this with white, whether or not I should just simply play b takes c. I don't feel that's right, but it's probably a good move as well. GM Tranquilizer, your first was 50. He just comes to my stream to plug himself because he looks good compared to me. It's like I'm like Schieberspieler is like the beautiful girl that hangs out with the ugly girls so that she can look more hot. You know what I mean? Wow, knight takes f7 was played. And he's at 1300. Alright. This is interesting. No, Schieberspieler plays a lot of bullet. I guess doing the puzzles is similar to bullet. I'm slow. It's not that my puzzle ability is bad, but my speed is not what it should be. You can't mirror forever though. Sometimes that can be dangerous. But Praying Mantis is now. It's hard to put a finger on Praying Mantis exactly what planet he's from. Also incredibly talented for 1300. Very difficult. It seems like he made a lot of tactical blunders, but he's actually capable of playing on a very high level. I don't do 3-2 challenges. It's got to be one consistent time control to make it simple. Otherwise, we'd all be here bartering over what time control we're going to play. 5-3 gives me time to talk about the games. At 3-2, I just have to play, and I can't really talk about the position much. However, I am a little distracted. Alright. Spieler is very competitive about his puzzle rating. I'm not so much. Wow, bishop takes h7. Giving the piece back. Now we've got clearly 2 pieces for the rook. But my bishop is a goner. Interesting. What am I going to do about this? He's got a pawn and a rook for the 2 pieces. Not a bad deal. You're not competitive? I think you're pretty competitive. Not as bad as some people. Alright. I don't really know about puzzle ratings. I just tried it once. But I don't want lichess to become chess.com. I guess a lot of people begged and begged for the puzzle rush until they got it. But, you know, for me, I'm not real excited. We could do that on other sites. I like the other day there were like 5 people streaming and they're all doing puzzle games. Whatever. So, he's got a pawn and a rook for 2 minor pieces, and now good centralization with the king. Pragmatis is not a 1300. Extremely sensible player. Very good. In my opinion, Pragmatis could be like 1800 really easily. I don't really understand how they're not at least like 16 plus. Actually, he is 1700 in rapid, so there you go. He plays more like 1700. I don't get this 1300. Definitely. This is a kind of complicated game, and he's still hanging in there. $1,300, not bad. Where I come from, they're bad, man. But maybe there's a new 1300. I don't mean to diss anybody. But my experience of rating systems was that 1300 was really bad. Quite bad. I have to be honest. It doesn't mean they blunder pieces. Well, what else would they do? If they didn't blunder pieces, they would be like 1700. It's hard to understand what other way is there to be 1300. Like, just lose on time every game? Is that your point? The only other way to be 1300 besides blundering pieces is to lose on time every single game. They were just unlucky. Chess is about luck. There's a lot of luck in chess. Pragmatis is pretty quick, too. It's still maybe a draw. Can I win this? I mean, I can win it, probably, but can I win by force? Okay, frankly, on lichess, there's a massive variance based on different players. You know, from player to player. One 1300 is like 900, and the next one plays like they're... Now that's not a good move. That was his only 1300 move of the game. The last one. G4, self-mate. I think the rest of the game was better. So after king f4, let's just say he plays king f6, h4, obviously. Can black even be winning here? Is black even winning for sure? Like seriously, after h4, is it that easy for me to win here? I didn't see that rook here move. I figured that would drop a piece, but it's rook takes e4, rook g4 check. I'm not sure if I would have noticed, you know, I had this in-between move here. Apparently I'm winning. Okay, the pass pawn. The pass pawn is strong. Now in the opening, just before we have to go to the next game, this is a blunder. Interesting. I'll show you guys something. This is actually a blunder. Wow. Knight d8, knight f7. Knight f2 is too symmetrical. You know, someone suggested that this was possible, but that tempo is going to make a big difference. You can't copy forever. So, apparently I should have played king f7 here, which is just down a pawn. Wow, this is weird. Knight takes e4. So there's no way I could calculate this. I was just hoping I would trap the knight on h8, and I did. But apparently as a way to prevent me from being able to do that, check. Pretty obvious move, duh. He tricked me. It's funny, I've had this position before, but I must have been a slightly different position. Weird. So I have to play bc here. Nobody plays knight takes c6, so I don't really think about it. It was played in 22 games. Huh. Wonder if I've had this before, and just no one ever noticed. I'm almost certain I've had this before. I mean, all the time I was playing the same position wrong, and I never realized it. Even this is bad. There must be some similar position that I'm confusing this with. I had an interesting game the other day I would like to show for a second. In a similar type of position, e4, c5, knight f3, g6. Different opening, but similar. Schieberspieler, maybe you have an opinion on this. After c4, cd4, knight d4, knight c6, bishop e3, knight f6, my opponent played this. Wait, is this right? No. Sorry, knight c3, knight g4, knight c6. I was like, what? They played knight takes c6. I took here. White played knight takes d8 now. And I played knight takes d1. Now, this doesn't work in this position, because I can just take on b2. So my opponent plays rook takes d1, and I played this. I mean, sorry, here. Right. Now, the question is, should black play king takes knight or bishop takes c3 check? What do you think? See, that's the problem, though. You're like, oh, I have a monster bishop, but I can smash his pawns. So it's like this dilemma. Do you give up the bishop and smash his pawns, or do you keep it, you know, and just play for the two bishops? I thought it's just it's really hard to decide, like, which move is better for black. In fact, there's two games, and in each game was a different move. Not surprisingly, these two players couldn't agree on which move is better. I just thought it would be an interesting position to analyze, like, as a sort of exercise. I think that both have a case, you know, there's a case to be made for these moves. Can you suggest a GM's preparation on this line? Sure. Can always make suggestions, Dr. Tripp. Someone offered to join our team. Alexander Belov. Alright. Joined. Virat Carlson. No matter what move, it's just like two different ways of playing the same position. That's the truth. What's your preference, Schieberspieler? You like the bishop? Your first comment was monster bishop. It is painful to trade it off. Spieler loves bishops. We all do. We all do. Love our bishops around here. But I know I have a tendency to overvalue bishops. And I see that a lot with the computer. You didn't see that the knight wasn't protected by a piece. Blaze of Glory, what are my thoughts on this nanotechnology vaccine? Not relevant to my chess stream, would be my comment. Alright. What are we doing? But I do love, talking about current events, so it's not... I don't have like a strict rule in place, like we can't... Some streamers are like, no politics, no religion, no nothing. I don't want to be like totally disallowing any sort of discussion of other subjects, but I don't have enough knowledge of scientific. But whatever you guys do, don't engage in an angry argument or something. Then I'll have to ban everybody. All right, Bishop E2 is kind of solid. Looks normal. Whatever discussion we have, it has to stay civil. Knight on BD2. Queen C2, maybe playing for E4. Public health department. Personally, I would feel, safer with a traditional sort of vaccine. In Hungary, we're all ready for Russian and Chinese vaccines now. So, I can't wait for that. We've got... The European situation is pretty bad with the vaccine rollout. I like how, I read in the news all day that there's all these American sites. They're complaining about how bad the vaccine rollout is in the United States. At least they have a vaccine rollout. In Europe, we have no vaccine rollout at all. So please don't complain about the vaccine rollout in the United States. At least it exists. We have no vaccine here. 100,000 people got vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine who were frontline doctors and stuff and friends of the government. But that's it, And now, because the government here hates the EU, they're rushing to grab Chinese and Russian vaccines against the wishes of the European Union, to just sort of thumb their noses. We can get the vaccine faster than the EU, haha, whatever. I mean, I might as well fly back to the United States and get a vaccine in 2 months or something, because I'm not going to get one here. It's pretty crazy. Or if I do, it'll be the Sinovac or the Sputnik or something. It's really crazy. What do I do here? It's pretty crazy that I have to fly back to the United States to get a vaccine faster than I can get one here. I checked the US Embassy website. They're we do not help people whatsoever with getting vaccines. You forget about that. You have to sign up to get it, of course. But it's going to take months and months. In the US, it'll be slow, but it'll happen. I don't know. We'll see. 10 challenges, guys. Thanks everybody for showing up. I was not sure about which way to recapture on f3. Like, pretty much all the captures there were possible. This square, man, do I have some sort of tactic here, like bishop a3? The London Olympics ceremony 2012 predicted the pandemic lockdown. Okay. Is this some sort of conspiracy thing? The Simpsons probably predicted it too. The Simpsons predicted Donald Trump would be president. But it's pretty good money if you predict there's going to be a pandemic, you know, by the way. Like, to predict there's going to be a pandemic. There's a lot of authors who wrote books about pandemics. And they're like, oh, they predicted the future. It was almost inevitable. I mean, there'll probably be more, too. Camels are a dangerous animal for hosting viruses that could transmit to humans like MERS. Spectacular camel. We haven't seen our camels lately. Where's Ubatis? So this diagonal becomes relevant. Did you know about camels? Did not know about camels. Well, the MERS virus. But a lot of scientists are most concerned about camels as the most dangerous animal for transmitting viruses. But I guess, you know, this is just something that's not set in stone. I read an article about it. It doesn't mean that camels are number one. Bats are common. They think coronavirus came from some sort of bat, cave bat. But people are in contact with camels a lot, you know. They're used for like transportation and you know, bats aren't like used for, they're not used as work animals. Hey, can you get that bat out here? Carry your bats. They carry messages. Sent by carrier bat. Oh, what was that? The Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule? Alright, what are we gonna do? We call them mules. I guess mules and camels are kind of similar, huh? Drug mules. What are we gonna do? Virat Carlson is hanging in there. But his pieces are congested. Suffering from congestion. Alright, what is that link you just posted? NHS? Alright. We're gonna keep the conspiracy theories to a minimum. Please. We had one player, I had to time him out for suggesting that Bill Gates is responsible for something or other. Let's not start that. Virat is playing truly like an Indian. Great Lazarus, what does that mean? Is that a good thing? He's playing pretty well, but not completely. I don't know, man. He's fast. I thought he was clearly worse, but yeah. Let's get out of the public health issues and Bill Gates conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I'll just time you out if you start with that. It's distracting, and people start to get all crazy. No, I like the way that Virat Carlson plays. Definitely. I think he plays too fast, and I've been saying this to a lot of people. You've got to sacrifice some of that speed and try to play better moves. He has a minute left, but a marginal position. I would trade the speed for position any day. Position is more important than quickness. Most people have the priority wrong. They're putting quickness ahead of position, even if they don't realize they're doing it. I never thought of Indian players as having a style. Great Lazarus. I think I noticed styles more. Well, let's say like Russian players, because they have a very sort of established system of training. I don't think you can really say that about Indian players as much. Or American players. What's an American player style? You know what I mean? What does that mean exactly? With the Soviet or Russian system, you could kind of point to say, okay, they're all trained with this kind of rigid system. You could recognize some similarities. Good at end games. You're not even serious. That's just rude. You're down a clear exchange, you're offering me a draw? Are you serious? Dude, that's like insulting my family or something. Offering a draw in a clear down exchange position, you're saying that I'm incompetent. Incapable of winning this position. Maybe I am, but I'll figure it out. All right. How's the poker these days? There is no poker. I don't play poker much. I was playing live once a week and sometimes more, but not since. Poker is like the worst thing in the world for the virus. There are people still playing here. Poker club is open during the day. Like if you want to get COVID, I'm sure that's like one of the easiest places to get it. Like 9 or 10 people sitting around a table, passing around cards with like virus on it. Or I was kind of freaked out like last year when I was still playing, but I was all right. We just got to be really careful. But online poker, I don't play anymore. Virtually. WJ Loof, what's up? Poker is going to be completely destroyed. Live poker. But what can you do? I can't believe my friends that are still playing. It's just crazy. Though I have one friend who got the virus and then recovered, and so he's like, he's immune to it. But I mean, dude, what about other people? It's fine that you're immune. You have an immunity, but you're still gonna like be involved in spreading the virus. I think it's very irresponsible. So I'm just not gonna play until it's over, or at least until the thing is under control, which it's not. WJ Loof. We've got a list of players here challenging me to Blitz. I'm taking 5+3 casual only. Keep it simple. Got a bot challenger. I don't play bots. At least not on my stream. WG Loof with a G Loof. WG Loof. WJ. 99.7 survival rate. Sure. You haven't been to a Hungarian hospital, my friend. It's like a 95% survival rate, probably. Good luck with that. Hope you have a good healthcare system wherever you are. I don't want to be in the hospital here for a regular condition, let alone COVID. Another problem is that while COVID is forcing like millions of people to be hospitalized, actually a lot of like bacteria and fungus that are immune to antibiotics are getting stronger and stronger. If you go in the hospital here with COVID, there's at least a 5% chance you're going to die. And it doesn't matter, you know, if you're over 50, maybe if you're under 50, there's significantly less chance. But I would say like 50 or up, it's... Now, if I was in the United States, I could go in the hospital and survive, but then I would owe like $1 million by the time I got out, and they saved my life. So that's the other side of the coin. I go back to the United States, get COVID, go in the hospital, get a medical bill for like $3,000 to go to the hospital in an ambulance. Either way, you're screwed. If you don't die, you lose any money you had whatsoever. Well, I don't have healthcare insurance in the United States since I'm living in Hungary. But even if I did, it's ridiculously expensive. I guess like in the UK, the NHS isn't too bad. But I can't imagine that the standard of care in the NHS is all that great on average. You're not going to get treatment like Boris Johnson. Rookie 1 is a good move, WJ Loof. I'm just not going to hospital here. $94. So if you go in the hospital and die, then you're in debt. Yeah, then you die, and like any money you have is gone as well. So you're doubly screwed. Your family can't inherit whatever you had left. The healthcare system in the United States is a huge problem, although it probably is everywhere. Insurance companies are, I think, the main problem. I told the story on my stream a million times. When my mom had to go to the hospital, the ambulance charge was like outrageous. They can just charge whatever they want. And I know that it's negotiated down, but very corrupt system. The good thing is if I die here in Hungary, it's not that expensive. There'll still be some money left over for the family. It's much more affordable to die in Hungary than to die in the United States. Let's see. Knight h4. I think I played this position once before, and I allowed white to take on f5. I got in big trouble. Maybe I tried d5. This position I've played before. But I'm not supposed to allow white to take on f5. Actually, WJ Loof, I'm proud of you. You played the opening really insightfully. Is that the word? Insightfully? WJ Loof must be doing his homework, because this seems correct. Let's go back to golf. I like golf. Golf is peaceful. Donald Trump loves golf. Golf doesn't love Donald Trump, though. Alright, knight takes c3. Do I go back to c8 to protect b7, or do I try to profit by putting it on d7? This is in here. Maybe e6. Actually, maybe e6 is a good move. Huh. The weak pawn on c4. Now back to golf. I was comparing Puzzle Rush to playing golf. Well, to watching golf. There's nothing against doing puzzles. I just don't really like it. But watching it would be horrible. But I understand the gambling aspect. I like that angle you suggested, Dr. Tripchance. Betting on the puzzles. Using channel points to bet on puzzles. To bet on people doing puzzles. Guys, I'm taking challenges for another hour and a half here. I can't believe it. So bishop b6, c4 pawn is weak. He has some interesting moves. Queen b3, trying to hit my weak b7 pawn, rook b1. But e4, just giving up a pawn. Ponda. Yum yum. Delicious. So no complications. He just sacked the pawn straight away. White has a strong center. At the master level, I favor black. I suppose WJ Loof is like 1500. Against the average player, maybe the center is enough to justify sacrificing a pawn. But I think at the higher levels, his pawn sack is dubious. We have to just suffer a minor inconvenience. But I don't really have any problem with my pieces. My rooks and queen coordinate. All my pieces have a place to go. This is a good outpost. White has a little bit of space advantage on the king side. The knight on h4 is actually badly placed. Unless you can sack it on f5 or something. To you, he just blundered. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, at your level, where you're like 2100, a reasonable move at the 1500 level may be literally a blunder at your level. But it was a resolute decision. Alright. I guess we'll get some space. Give me some space. I used to live near a golf course. That's part of my bitterness toward golf. There was this one worker at the golf course who had a Trump bumper sticker. I have to admit I was tempted to, like, kick his car. I mean truck, of course. Pickup truck. But I restrained myself. The golf course was a bad memory for me. I had a fight with one of the golf pros. We do need a mod. I am a mod. Dude, Elon Musk had those false PCR tests. They're not perfect. Probably they need to produce a better test. Seems like a lot of them are wrong. I'm a huge fan of Boris Johnson. He's a genius. He can't even, like, put his pants on right. How could you, you know? But then again, I can't make fun of anybody. President Trump was the president of the United States. It's hard to make fun of Boris Johnson when Trump was the U.S. president. But seriously, I think, like, by definition, leaders are morons. Almost. It seems like. This is a nice try by WJ Loof. It's like chess politicians. It's always like the biggest losers who become like leaders in the chess federation. Who wants that job anyway? At least in real world politics, there's money involved. I can understand that. WJ Leaf with the speed. Trying to get me. Coming to get me here. Wow. That's not a good idea. WJ Leaf went the wrong way. You clearly can't get mated on the back rank. So there's still some practical chances left after King F1. You're walking away. But you're objectively lost. I mean, you were lost. You were lost after you sacked the piece. It was an inspired try, WJ Loof. The knight on h4 would love to sacrifice itself for some sort of successful attack. But you just don't have enough here. A little more power in that area, you know, with f4, a rook around the area, maybe on g-file. You just need a little bit more force here. Miralles. He has to really have a well-prepared attack to sacrifice a piece like that with knight f5. But I understand it's a limited amount of time. Alright, we got to take a break from the Budapest here. Morales always plays the Budapest Gambit. Blaze of Glory, I don't understand why you're having your COVID, I don't know, theory arguments on a chess stream. We're here for chess. Occasionally we talk about other stuff, but it's not meant to be like the main point of the stream. I'm sure there's lots of other places for that. If you'd like to have that discussion, this is not really intended for that purpose. But I don't want to I really don't want to ban you from the stream for doing it. But let's just try to stick to chess primarily. So Morales and I played this a couple of times. The Petrov, why don't you play the Eric Rosen Gambit? Knight c6. You can lose a pawn. Just get it done with. You like the Budapest. I like making fun of Eric Rosen. I actually don't know him, but I don't subscribe to playing or teaching people to play totally unsound gambits. Now this variation, interesting. Wow. Wait a minute now. The plague. Now I can't remember. Knight d4, bishop e4. So that's why this. He's not threatening knight takes d4. That's important to recognize. But he's threatening bishop takes f3, technically. So c4 is still a move. It's still like the main line, isn't it? Man, nobody plays this. It's a Marshall variation. Well, Morales is all in my brain. It's just that no one ever plays this line. I'm trying to remember Blitz games that I played like 25 years ago against some Egyptian guy. He was like the only reasonably strong player who ever played this against me. We had a number of Blitz games. It's considered dubious. I actually knew it a little bit at one point. But I mean, literally, like the last time I played this was probably a random Blitz game 15 years ago or something. There was once in a while somebody... Now you're transposing back, or trying to transpose back into something more sound. I guess the Egyptian guy and Marshall played some sort of psycho gambit. F5 or something? Was it F5? 25 years ago I was 14. That's what I like to tell people. If I'm under 40, I sound younger. I better shave in timely fashion this week, though. I start to look older than 39. The F5 line. Well, I'm trying to remember the move order. Is it F5 right away? How do you protect the d5 pawn? You just sack it outright. You let white take. Then what happens? I guess it's F5. CD5 is variation. You just remember to keep your rook on F1 and black is F5. Well, there's something involving H3 and G4 for white, which I distinctly remember. I can attack or undermine your pawns. There's a very risky line there. This is theory. Isn't there some Karpov? You love Karpov too, right? Isn't there Karpov Korchnoi in this line? Maybe? Picked up my bishop. G takes. You have not seen it. Edward Elric. check. Is rook e1? Is there any reason why that's not a good move? Queen g3. Why am I thinking like about queen g3? I have no time left. Damn it. I can't play something complicated with no time left. Yeah, I failed here. Fail. Sad. Opening, sad. Man, Morales is so fast, it's unbelievable. Even in a line he doesn't know that well, he's much faster than me. Edward Elric, do you play either side of the Petrov? You mentioned that you've not seen a Karpov game. But why is that relevant? I mean, you like Karpov. I joke about you liking Karpov. You play French. Why do you say French? This is a French? It's an exchange variation? But is this a transposition to an exchange French or something? Is that why you said it? It could be. Well, yeah, I mean, it's very possible there's a direct transposition to the exchange French or some sort of C4 French. Exchange French with C4. Exactly. Morales has some serious quickness. Karpov is great. Yeah, I mean, I've studied a lot of Karpov Petrosian games too. Not like a religious follower, but I don't have one set or two set favorite players. But I have huge respect for both Karpov and Petrosian, and I've studied a lot of their games, but not recently. Morales, damn it, you're so fast, you drive me crazy. He sees everything. Unbelievable with no time. I guess I'm lost now. Basically, Morales turned into Schieberspieler or something. He's now like an FM strength positional player. In-game grinder. Is Schieberspieler going to do a stream today? I don't like his decision there. Really. But I guess it's alright. Look at that. Last move. King e6, not king d6. This should be a draw. I don't know. I think Morales is master level. I never really realized it. How strong he is objectively. He's good, but he's gotten even stronger. But he did make one bad decision, trading rooks. The game should be a draw. I also don't love a5. A couple of endgame mistakes, but it's still difficult for black to lose. Are you trying to tempt me into like losing or something? Now I'm better. He offered a draw, like, brilliant moment. With his king back on e6 and the inability to play g6 because his pawn is on h6, now I can play b4. I might even be winning here. I'm really close to winning because I have an outside pawn. But I can't do everything. If I play b4, you take g6, threatening f5 check. I bet it's a draw still. My a pawn is going to be dangerous. It's actually his move, but I don't know what to recommend. Okay, c5. King e7, waiting move. You started to screw this up at the end really bad. If you just play like g6 in the first place, you're playing f5. I mean, black is slightly better. There's no way that you should ever lose this position, but you almost did. You put all of your pawns in the wrong color at the last possible minute. a5 like helps me to make a pass pawn with b4, and then you played h6, which is bad too. So it's like you're trying to lose, but I literally had time panic. If you don't play c5, like I'm playing b4. I wasn't sure. This might be winning for white because I have the outside pass pawn now, even though you're up a pawn. Before we go on to the next game, I just want to review the opening to understand what I did wrong. This is a rare line. Yeah, there's no Karpov-Korchnoi. There's Kasparov-Karpov. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. It's a K problem. Although my generation, I should know the difference between those matchups. Yeah, it was a weird suggestion to say Karpov-Korchnoi. Because Korchnoi didn't play the Petrov. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. But, so Karpov actually played this line. Now knight c3 is correct. This was always freaking me out, the fact that black can play knight d4 check. You have queen e1. Bishop e7. Huh. Funny that there's only one game here. Whoa. What's up with that? Knight takes d4. So queen e1 check is the wrong move. John Ems was mistaken in 04. This is important. We have to play pawn takes pawn, threatening, I guess, queen a4 check. This is some sort of gambit line. Okay, you don't have to play knight takes d4. I'm just asking the question. I need to know why that's not a good move. Knight d4, cd5. Mereru. I played him. Bishop takes f3, g takes f. It looks like some weird line that's almost playable for black. But, the main move is knight c3, bishop takes f3, queen f3, knight d4, queen h3. This is kind of what I was trying to remember. But I was thinking like queen g3. This may actually be better. Yeah, like white clearly has the initiative for a pawn in these lines. I'm just going to try to remember. Non-Chiadesso. Oh. He's super fast and dangerous. Anti-Soltis stuff on this? Wait, what is an anti-Soltis? That's like acerbate. Anti-Soltis. Alright. If you go back to what? F6 with your knight, you understand the opening went really good for white. It's a funny way of typing anti-Soltis. I like that. That's like acerbate with key rushed. Anti-Soltis. You're right, but the point is to teach rule of thumbs to play by heart in endgames in order to avoid blundering. Yeah, you don't want to put your pawns on dark squares. But it's not just a rule of thumb, like it's really like true 99% of the time. There are obviously exceptions. You can't take any rule of thumb like totally dogmatically. But it was interesting how your instinct was wrong there. This is an interesting line, a6. An anti-Soltis is someone who doesn't like his books, I guess. Andy Soltis is an American chess grandmaster who was primarily a writer. He worked for the New York Times. Well, journalist, I should say. He's still alive. But he wrote a lot of chess books, one of the most prolific American modern chess authors. He's not well known as a player, but he did write a very interesting book called Confessions of a Grandmaster, or Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster, which is out of print. But it was like a very eye-opening account of his own tournament experience and a lot of annotated games on a very modest, sort of digestible level. I think that's a unique and highly instructive book. Also useful for people who like to play the King's Indian and Dragon Sicilian, which was his repertoire. Alright, so non-Chiadesso here. I don't know why he's spending a lot of time. You've got two moves, actually. Though I don't know about knight d5 here. I mean, it's primarily pawn takes pawn. But Soltis wrote a lot of bad, kind of cheap, crappy books, too. Well, I should say he published them, or whatever. You know, I like my first opening book was this thing by Soltis on the Stonewall attack. It was like a 50-page a sort of 50-page beginner's book with a lot of white space. on a very basic opening. Not a book that's going to be inducted into the Chess Writers Hall of Fame or something. He was one of the first chess writers to really make a living by writing books. Some of them are good and some of them are not so good. I think people like his book on pawn structure. I think he had a pawn structure book. There's also a book like The Art of Defense in Chess. But Confessions of a Grandmaster was different. I think he put his heart in that. Yeah, the Stonewall attack didn't work out well for me. Revised edition. This looks very similar to a game I had watched, was it? We went over yesterday. Yeah. I guess at some point we want to play knight to d4. But here I guess knight e4 is a problem. Growlum just subscribed to Tier 1. Growlum sounds familiar. Thank you for the subbing. Your funniest one was I got about 20 of 1970s Chess Life magazines. Well, he was a prolific author for Chess Life. That I should mention, of course. Forgot to mention that. So what would... What should white do here? I don't like my queen on the c file. Chess to enjoy. We hope you enjoy chess. Mostly it's like suffering. Chess for blood. I probably have like 3 or 4 Soltis books, but as I said, the Defense in Chess, Art of Defense in Chess. I don't think I have the Pawn Structure book. He's probably written like 30 chess books, maybe more. Did you ever play white with me? Yeah, that's very strange. Are you challenging me to play with black or something? I have the suspicion that people sometimes do that. Soltis's King's Gambit material is awesome. Whoa, like what? Like he did articles? Did he actually write a book on the King's Gambit? Oh, ironic. You mean it's not ironic? It's not good? 2-volume on the King's Gambit? Is it crap? I feel like I'm playing with Capablanca or something. It's a lot like Flor Capablanca. There's also a game I did recently. I talked about the Nottingham tournament of 1936. There was a... Yeah, Flor Capablanca. But there's another game I'm thinking of. A fine game. WJ Lou, thanks for joining us. I covered another game recently in one of my studies. Grandmaster Reuben Fine, who a lot of people will never heard of, but he was one of the strongest players in the world at one point. Famed for the Endgame book. Thanks for reminding me of that, Midnight Rhino. Yeah, that's a famous book and it's well regarded. If you need like a one-game resource for endgames, Fine's Encyclopedia, for lack of a better name, is a good recommendation. I have that. It's like basic chess endings or something. It's always good to have an endgame reference book. Although nowadays with the internet, probably things will be changing. We have databases. I mean, obviously, study endgames may change over time. I don't understand why Nanki Adesso took with the pawn on e4. Wait, I meant to say I don't understand why he took with the queen. Oh, I guess he had to. Didn't he have an inner position here? Knight takes c3. I think he missed knight takes c3. So now he's left with a slightly worse structure. Still not so easy. Yeah, the psychology of chess. I was always underwhelmed by his book on psychology, though some people claim they really liked it. We were having a discussion once on the stream. I prefer Krogius. But Fine was a psychologist. So I guess he was qualified. Talk about psychology. One of the only top players who was non-professional, full-time chess player. I don't know, Nanadeso seems extremely strong in middle game and tactics, so the only way I'm going to beat him might be in the end game. But he didn't have to let this happen to a structure. It becomes a difficult game to play. He had this move. Knight takes c3 now. He would have been fine. Get it? Fine. After knight takes c3. Rook takes. And then it's question, he could even play rook takes here. He would have been fine. After f takes c6 for c3. White has only the tiniest advantage here. But the structure in the game is much harder for him to play. Even this, though, probably can be defended for black with very accurate play Hanish Burger. What is today? Friday, guys. Tomorrow's my day off, and we're going to be back on Sunday with a simul stream, 6:30 CET simul. I have not heard any word about team battle for this Sunday. Has anybody follow Tranquilizer? Hanishberger, you actually are a good suspect, because I know you go to Tranquilizer stream. Toxic Dejan Antich. Did Tranquilizer mention at all he was going to set up a team battle for Sunday? Because I haven't had a chance to ask him. I thought maybe he's not going to do it this week. It's pretty late. It's Friday. So I was assuming he's going to let it go. If anybody has any info, let me know. Sunday we have a simul at 6:30 CET. That's for sure. It's unclear about the team battle. Good job, Toxic. I much prefer lichess. I think a lot of people do. Good to have you. So knight b5. It's a really smooth site. I was amazed. Of course, the only problem was when I first started playing on lichess back in 2016, there weren't that many strong players. Now it's like flooded with strong players, so it was just a matter of time till this site would rise to prominence. Really, when I first started streaming like 5 years ago, it's almost, I can't believe it's been 5 years. I can't believe I've been doing this for 5 years, but it's, there was no title players, just a few. I would log on and there'd be a couple other IMs, and that's about it. Who's been here the longest that's watching? Now black can transpose to the Sveshnikov with knight f6 here. Speaking of Dejan Antich, that's the last time I played a Sveshnikov with white in a tournament game, was against him. That was a long time ago too. That was, God, man, I don't know. It must have been in like 2001 or something. A Space Odyssey. I haven't played the white side of Sveshnikov in a tournament game since 2001. I'm just taking the challenges as I got them, Dejan, so I don't know if we're going to get that many. We'll try. Okay, bishop e6, it's a Kalashnikov Sicilian, people call it. It's not a Sveshnikov after bishop e6. We're staying, I know this is a move. I know knight on ge7 is main line. Probably bishop e7 is a move. With the idea of, yeah, that doesn't make sense though. You don't have bishop g5. I know knight e7 for sure. Bishop e6 must be. I had a friend who played this, but it's been a long time since I played him some Blitz games. I guess this is bishop e6 must be book. Trying to think if there's any other moves for black there. They're probably weird moves like rook b8. Theoretically, black could play g5. I mean g6. g5 is ugly. g6. But I strictly remember this and this. Bishop e6 seems like my friend Balash probably played this against me. I'm not really an e4 player in my heart of hearts, but I like to play everything. But I have far less games with e4 than with others. So g6 is a move. h4. Trying to sneak in a quick h5. I was a little concerned with bishop h6, actually, trading off his bad bishop. h4 gives us the interesting possibility of playing h5, sneaking that in, if he tries to go bishop h6 now. Or knight h6. But I'm not sure if I really want to do it. It's not forced. And it costs a lot of time to go h5. I mean, maybe I just play g3 and like bishop h3 later or something. Maybe objectively we don't really want to go h5, but it's a tough call. My knight on a3 is misplaced too. What about sacrificing a piece on b5? Knight b5, pawn b5, bishop b5. Probably a little too much. Bishop g5 is an interesting move. Ay, ay, ay. Bishop g5. You only live once. Oh well, we're just being creative. I don't really know what we're supposed to play here. It's an interesting move. The idea would be the pawn on g5, which is untakeable, becomes like a hindrance for black, getting in his way. It seems okay. If bishop d5, queen d5, knight e7, queen d2. My rook is open. Development. Free development. Get your free development here. It's also possible to take with the pawn, but that's like less tempting. Less, what's the word? I still like knight takes b5 maybe. How's he defending c6? Well, I guess he just defends it with like the rook. Knight b5, pawn b5, bishop b5, rook c8. It's so tempting to play this piece sack, but I don't see how it works. I don't see that it works. So I guess I just have to take here. His d6 pawn is hanging, but sometimes they can sacrifice that. I don't really see it though. Knight takes f6, knight f6, queen f6, queen d6. His knight's hanging with check. He can't play rook d8 and just drop a piece. And then he might really be threatening knight b5. This is more interesting than doing puzzles, isn't it? Watching me do puzzles. We got a new follower. I need glasses. I think it was like Debushnik. Gotta get some glasses. Oh no. I just realized what's up here. So queen d6, he can't castle. That's a close one. For a second I started hallucinating he can castle. That would be an issue. If you castled, I think that black might have enough activity. Castling is illegal. Don't try to do that. So, all my pieces are ready to pounce now. Everybody is taken care of. I have knight b5. What does he do on knight b5? Rook f8. Knight b5 seems a little bit risky. Let's see, knight b5, rook f8, attacking f2. I don't like it. But I think I'm going to get in trouble here if I'm not careful. I keep hallucinating he can castle. I have another idea though. I'm going to have to bring my queen back, it looks like, and I'm dropping my a pawn. This rook d1 move may be a mistake. Rook h3 was interesting. I missed it. I saw the idea of the third rank, but I didn't calculate I could do it that way. I actually think he could play rook f8 here, and then try to play king f7. That's not so simple either, though. So queen f7 is his move. Knight b5. Knight b5 is probably not working. Now I don't have rook h3. Routine development. I have knight b5, I guess, actually. Knight b5, take, take. Because e5 is falling. The sky is falling. Chicken Little. Well, for rook f8, I just play f3. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Bishop takes b5, and this is undermined. So I'll have 4 pawns for a piece if I get that one. The rook is falling. Chicken Little. There is a problem. We can just castle. Castling is legal. Rook e6, queen h8 check, and then castle. Or f3. Is bishop e6 main line in this Kalashnikov? Interesting. Everything's good. No need to castle. So I was curious about this. I got time for like 2 more games, guys. Maybe more, actually. Maybe we can do 3. We'll see. Please be a GM. Hanishberger. So this is rare. Wow. There's only four games where black played bishop e6. Is there something wrong with that move? So this is even a move. Knight f6 is a Sveshnikov. Knight e7 is the main line. Rook b8, as I said, is even a move. Bishop e7 is a move, but the problem is you can't play bishop g5. What is black's next move after bishop e7? Usually, maybe rook b8 or something? This is rare, but I don't think there's anything like terrible about it. Those sacrifices here. Sacrifices on b5 are possible pretty early on, I guess. It looks like I played, I guess, correctly, but I could have sacked this right away. Yeah, I was too paranoid of rook f8, not realizing I can just play like f3 or something. This is a little scary, like here, trying to trap my queen with my queen s squares. So the immediate sacrifice, if he takes, he has to play this. And then the question is this, this. This is a problem. This. That's crazy, and I have this move. I didn't calculate this. That's really funny. I could have hit him with knight d5 right away. Well, we've got another player here. Okay. 1,000 games. Go far. Go far. Is there any relation between go far and, what was that? Luau? Dede Bushnik, thanks for following. Go far. Or go fur. It's not a go fur, it's a go far. Related to gophers. Slightly different. Benoni / Benko. Or maybe he works for a pharmacy. He's a go far. He makes deliveries for a pharmacy. Pharmacy delivery specialist, go far. That's a great idea for like a company name. We should start a new business. We'll start our IPO on Reddit. Alright, this variation is very hazy for me as far as like what move order we're supposed to play. I don't really know. It's a good move order by black. There's really nothing special for white. This is not a great line, actually. I'm just taking the challenges I can get to. Please be kind to me. Yevgeny and Arturas were the next ones. I can't get to that many challenges today. Sorry guys if I'm declining your challenges. There's just no way I'm going to play that many games. I might be able to get to 3 more games, but that would be the max. I have to leave it at 1:30. So we have basically like 33 minutes left. I'm not trying to discriminate against those people that we just declined, but there's no foreseeable way I'm playing more than 3 or 4 games. Knight takes b6, a4. So I think this is theory. Best chance for white is supposed to be like a4. But my personal feeling about these type of variations that I don't think white has much. I probably want to play something else against the Benko. It's not clear to me why the Benko Gambit is not popular or not more popular for black. I almost never face it here online. But I don't think there's anything really wrong with the Benko. Especially, you know, sub-super GM level. Tad too many emotes. That's alright. Don't listen to Mubot. We don't mind. Thanks for the emotes. Mubot gets a little bit out of control at times. So this is an idea. Here, here, here. It's a fast game. I don't really know what the heck you're supposed to play with white. Rook b8 is a move. Not the only move. This seems like a reasonable move. Aiming to overprotect my central pawn on e4. The problem with this variation, it feels like this Benko declined, is that black gets a lot of counterplay on the b file. And we're not really, you know, up a pawn, obviously. Welcome everybody to the stream. We're going to be back on Sunday with a simul at 6:30 CET. Usually we had been doing a streamer battle on Sundays, but it doesn't look like anything's set up for this week. Edward says, I face a lot of people on lichess playing the Benko. I always take twice, go main line. Don't see much compensation for black. I guess it takes a skilled player with black, but I suppose maybe the sentiment is like that at the highest levels, Edward Elric, that they just don't see enough compensation for black in the main lines. The one time I ever played the Benko accepted, I lost to this guy Lazarov from Latvia. I normally never studied it though, so I guess I just didn't know it well enough. Queen c7. The archers. Archers are bishops? Archers of loaf. What are we doing? Astrobate Schieberspieler gonna stream today? Seems like he's been He left or something. He was angry I said he was competitive about puzzles. Do you have any idea? Is he streaming? Should I be preparing to raid his stream after this? Earlier in the week, he said he would be streaming on Friday. Ooh, e5. That's a totally massive tectonic shift in the position. Now it's like a King's Indian. It's a Petrosian King's Indian. I could see e6, but I'm surprised by e5. But it's still not simple. I mean, I don't know. My temptation is to do this, but now, you know, once I move a pawn, there's no going back. I get a nice knight on c4, but then what? It looks like a good Petrosian King's Indian on the surface. But I have no b4. There's no breaks. Aspie, what are you talking about? February 5th has a Swiss. I was asking you just if he's going to stream today. Any idea? No? Is that a no? He didn't mention anything about it. But earlier in the week, I think he said Mondays and Fridays he was streaming. So basically, Gofar is trying to play like a King's Indian. Go for knight a4. Man, I don't know. We got to do something. This pawn. Protect pawn. Must protect pawn. I guess. Antonio, thanks for joining us. As always, VIP Antonio, VIP Asterbate. We're missing VIP Schieberspieler. He does have a stream. Alright, Midnight Rhino. So I wanted to make sure, because I try to raid him when I can. It's weird. If knight b6, pawn takes pawn, knight c8, something like, what's happening there? Does anybody know? I can't just lose my central pawn. Good pick. Queen c2. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not certain about this. I'm doubtful of the entire plan of knight a4. It may have been a mistake. But you need to be dialed into the psychic network to be sure. Very unusual plan in this sort of Banco decline to play e5. But it looks reasonable to me. It's not a standard King's Indian. If I could break his c5 pawn or sack on his pawn structure like knight d6, knight e5. In my previous life, I played games where I think I've probably sacked on that pawn structure for pieces. I want to get this. I think Gofar should have played bishop d7, maybe bishop e5. It looks like he's aiming toward the king side. Ideas. I mean, I understand he didn't like his queen on c7. He wants it to be active over here. Now his a pawn. If that falls, he's a dead man. This seems like a really surprising sacrifice by black. I have to admit it crossed my mind. I just assumed black would never dare to do this, but he has f2 check, like an in-between move that I missed. Oh, is this just a tactical win for black? Seriously? Not so simple. Knight e4 check. I expected knight g4 check. Knight g4 check, I had king g3. Fully confused. I am fully confused. Official. Go far like switching zugs. But I mean, I don't know. I was like knight g4 check. I think it fails to king g3. Yeah. It's just too fantastic. But I have to play king g3. I was terrified of that variation at first. I didn't see this. So apparently there was an easier way to play this, rook f1, which I missed. But alright. A little too over the top. You, I mean, I think you should just play, like, you know, safe. You have a good position, probably, after this. If you just play, like, normal move. I thought bishop d7 with idea bishop b5. Queen e7 lets me in there, and then I get your white square bishop for my knight. The other possibility is just to exchange right away. You ought to just do that exchange first. I didn't like that I'm losing control of g4 here. I'm not sure what's going on. The computer likes white, but it's not so easy. Alright, interesting game. Please be kind to me. Please be kind to me. I've got time for max 2 games. Play fast. With 3 knights defense. What is this? 95? I know nothing about the 3 knights. Is bishop e5 even a good move? We had a similar game on our analysis stream yesterday. Except the knight was on f6 and white was castled. Was that the difference? But we should definitely play d4.
Well, yes.
d6 is unnecessary. This has also got to be a good move for black, no? Knight d4 right away. I would assume this is a good line. Guys, thanks for joining me again. Sunday, Simul, 6:30 CET. So what's up? ED4, Knight d4, Bishop d7. This is almost identical to the game we analyzed yesterday. We were looking at a game like Caruana playing black against MVL. MVL took with the bishop on c6. And Fabiano took with the b pawn. But I feel like it was castle, knight f6 we're in. Same position. Otherwise, I really don't know what white's supposed to do. I'd rather give up my bishop and keep the strong knight on d4. This is weird that black took with the bishop on c6. Definitely unusual. Less pawn moves means less weaknesses. Not a terrible move for black. There is the f5 square. If I get a knight in f5, you're going to be sorry. In a lot of situations. Dede Buznik, I'd like to play you, but there's no way I'm going to get that far. I might get to one or two other games here. Knight e7, stopping knight f5. It's a good idea. So I don't really want to trade pieces, but I've got to decide what to do. Bishop g5, provoking. This is just a blitz move. It looks kind of artificial. But whatever. Two knights versus two bishops. Black is lagging in development. But it may not be that big a deal. Maybe black's okay here. There's only so much my knights can do. I don't like the exchange of bishop for knight on e7. I gave up my good bishop for that knight. It just doesn't look like I have enough threats to justify this. a4. Interesting move, queen g5. Very aggressive. Wow. Raining here. We had a little bit of snow yesterday in the night. Almost never snows. Unlike Canada. Knight to d5. Budapest is like in the same latitude as Canada. It's hard to believe. It's really, really strange. Maybe it's a little further south. Like Maine or the very northern extreme of the United States, I guess. Probably the very top of the US is in latitude in line with where I am in Europe. Maine, Minnesota. Oh, he dropped the queen. Bishop d5, queen d5, castles queenside, knight d6, queen takes g5. You saw that. You predicted it. Psychic network. I'm going to try to get these games to these last two players with Yevgeny and Arturas. Alright. Two strong players. Both master level. 2205 and 2206. You know when they're going to blunder. Yevgeny's openings are solid. Catalan. I just never have anything here. I don't know what to do against g3. It's so depressing. Transpose to the Bogo. We've played this before. How is c5? Batman, thank you for the game. I don't think I played that perfectly. You were probably okay there. I was rushing a little bit here at the end. Anatoly Volovich. I just like saying patronymics. Whatever. Bishop g2. We've played this before. I had this against Yevgeny, Dmitry Gurevich, and Igor Fugel. All good positional players play this variation with white. It's torturous for black. Never had much fun with this. Against Turzo, I played d5, and I regretted like getting up that morning in the Hungarian Team Championship. I'll never ever play that again after that game. I hung on for a draw, getting tortured in this game like 3 years ago, where it was an important last round team game. But that was horrible. I prefer not to put my pawn on d5. I don't know what got into me that day. I think I played knight c6 against Feugl. I probably castled against Dmitry. Those are all the games I can remember in this variation. Besides like offhand blitz games and stuff. But now, okay. Wait a minute. Maybe castles is a mistake? What am I thinking here? I'm supposed to play for e5. Yeah. Oh, so this is like the Smyslov system. I have even other older games. I had another game. This line. Against Adam Sebereny. This is a well-known variation. I don't remember if we ever played this, Yevgeny. I think I had a training game with Antony or someone. I lost my challenge against Arturas. If he comes back, we'll still try to play that game, but... Yevgeny, the Smyslov variation. My only game that I can remember was against Sebereny. Maybe I had another game against Bertsesh David. Or maybe even Gonda. Can't remember all my games now. Knight c3 is a move. It seems reasonable. Seems reasonable. You're not going to trap my bishop now, that's for sure, though. So black's given up the strong point on e5. Common theme in our discussions lately. White can go for a kingside attack based on what move 11 falsely called the kingside majority. I was joking about this yesterday. It's not really a kingside majority. It just wants to be a kingside majority. It's a wannabe kingside majority for white. So do I keep my bishop or do I go takes? The $1 million question. I'm Putting all my eggs in one basket, as they say. White has a powerful bishop, unopposed. The minor exchange, giving up the bishop for the knight. Schieberspieler. Is Schieberspieler streaming? Is Schieberspieler has been missing now for a while. A4. Guys, happy Friday. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to play one more game here. Another strong player, Arturas. Yevgeny. Eugene, knight c5. Idea this, maybe keeping your b pawn from moving, developing my bishop. Uh-oh. Now e3 is a kind of passive move almost. But if I play bishop g4, I might be forcing him to make a good move there. There's no need to force your opponent to make good moves. I would strongly recommend against it. Let's not do that. You know, Yevgeny, it would be interesting just to play f3 straight up. You could just play f3 and e4. Triple pawns. I think white had better than this. But he has knight f4. That's an annoying move. That is an annoying move for sure, man. How am I going to get rid of that? Now I have to really think. How much do you like tripled pawns? Not really. Tripled pawns are not cool. Man, I'm lower on time than Yevgeny. Wow. Fast and strong. Two bishops. He's got an ironclad lock on the center. Good control of these squares, this square. I've got e5. But I've got to fight back. This bishop's too strong. Now, the moment of truth. If he goes knight d5, we chop it. Cheesy Noob. Where the heck is Cheesy Noob? He loves two knights versus two bishops. I could play knight d5, pawn d5, bishop e5. This is a bad move. You shouldn't do that. That was a bad decision. The only move this game that I didn't like from Yevgeny. That's a bad decision. Even so, his position might not be that bad, but now, you know, I don't like his king side's weak without the bishop on g2. Tarduk over Alyekin. Though this rook could defend laterally. The bishop. Mr. Bishop. Does anybody else like the movie Mutiny on the Bounty? Come on. What do I do now? The knight left the building. Free pawns. This is getting weirder and weirder. I don't know what to do. I might see his knight coming to d4. Is that what's happening? Just make a random move when in doubt. That one? Oh, there's mate. That's convenient. Isn't that great? He has a threat of mate. Mate is great. I can always take his bishop, but my knight seems stronger than the bishop now. You destroyed my entire plan. Congratulations. But it's not two bishops versus two knights, it's bishop versus knight. Tartakover. Knight g5. You're lucky you have a rook on c2. See that? How smart he is? Smart dude. Oh my god. He wants to play c4. My rook is like a hall monitor in a high school. Oh my god, I'm going to lose on time. Playing like an idiot here. Just blunder after blunder. Total panic mode. Alright. That was a horrible endgame. Both of us had no time in a very complex position, and we started just playing like random moves, basically. The end of the game was a disaster. I'm going to play this last game against Arturas, and then I'm going to raid Schieberspieler, if Arturas is still here. Closed Sicilian. Not my favorite. Alright, we gotta live with it. It's part of the game. Arturas, no, I mean, Yevgeny, sorry. I don't know, both of us played really bad at the end. It was just a complicated position with tons of mistakes. You missed e5. Okay, I was wondering what you were thinking there. Because that was a bad choice. You had a lot of good moves, but bishop takes c6 isn't one of them. So this is like standard closed Sicilian. We had this against Princess Chess. It's a very solid line for white. Spassky. I don't know if I ever played this against Arturas. Most of our games are a long time ago, and I can't remember even what I did yesterday. But I don't remember if he had played the closed Sicilian before. I played a game like this with white recently in a training game against one of my students. I played a game like this against Josh Whiteskin when I was like 20, and Whiteskin was a teenager. Probably nobody knows who Josh Whiteskin is, but he was the character. The main character was based on Josh in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. I actually played a white side of a closed Sicilian against him. Something similar to this line. And I remember I played g4 pretty early and got a kind of dubious. I like pushing my kingside pawns. Dubious position. I don't know exactly what black's supposed to do. Spassky Karpov. There was a lot of like Spassky games with white. He was very solid. The older Spassky where he like stopped trying to kill people, but he was just like Spassky from the 80s. Josh, I drew. I was white and I went too far. He was higher rated. I remember the final position was rook versus knight with no pawns left on the board. And Josh was friends with Maurice Ashley. And they were hanging out together, and I remember he was like waiting, like Maurice was waiting for Josh to finish his game or something. But I was pissed because Josh wouldn't agree to a draw like immediately with like rook and knight. I had rook and knight versus rook. I mean, not rook and knight versus rook. What am I saying? Rook versus knight, of course. Rook and knight versus rook is another drawn endgame. But this was rook versus knight. Just straight up theoretical draw. I actually beat Whiteskin in another game later where he put that in Chessmaster. Chessmaster whatever had some lessons in it. And he put actually, one of the games he lost, which was against me. Which is kind of funny. But someone told me he was really arrogant, like sounding in the video. I never watched it, frankly. I wasn't interested, or listened to it. It's like multimedia. That was basically like the end of his chess career, I think. When he lost to me, he quit. That was probably the defining moment of Josh Whiteskin's chess career. I'm leaving now. I'm gonna actually raid Schieberspieler. Yeah, I basically made Josh Whiteskin quit chess. No, I don't know. I guess he had other interests. I could have made a GM Norman that tournament too. It was my best shot. But I screwed it up by overpressing in a Mora against this one guy. So Spassky here playing e5. Wow. Okay, I don't know. Artros is sacking a pawn to like open this diagonal. Wow. Can you really do that? That's often done as like a trade. Like he trades this pawn for this pawn. White would oftentimes get the c5 pawn in exchange for the pawn in e5. But this is like he's just straight up sacking a pawn. I could do like a clickbait video. How I made Josh Whiteskin quit chess. Not my style though. Maurice got a GM title after that. He didn't quit till a little later to become a chess commentator. Alright. I don't know about rook e8 though. Maybe I should play my rook f7. Maybe I should even play bishop g7. I'm not sure. Aren't you tired playing chess? Yeah. I've actually got to go. When I get tired of playing chess, I have to go teach people how to play chess. That's my other job. Chess and more chess. Very tiring. Absolutely. This is weird position for me. I don't know, I've never had a position exactly like this. I suppose I have bishop c6 though. You know, that could be really annoying if his white square bishop gets traded off. Suddenly you see weaknesses around the white king side. But if you lose to me, you know it's time to quit. Just kidding. Maybe I should go to h8. Help to get myself mated. Now I can play e5. Don't really want to do that yet. So Arturas is going to actually threaten like some sort of pressure on e6. This is getting out of control. I mean, I could have played pawn takes b4. Why didn't I play pawn takes b4? He's less awake than me. Chess is tiring. I agree. That's why I'm done. This is my last game. We ran a little late today. Now bishop c6. I want to play e5, but then knight d5. This knight on d4 is a strong piece. True. I don't think this can work. I have a check. He must have missed the check. Now his knight on c3 is hanging. Does he get a piece back? Bishop g2 check and take his knight. So he should have gone to h2. No immediate win. This is a little scary. Right. Everything's protected for now. Oh, I've got knight f5 check. I forgot I had this. So that's pretty devastating. He has to lose a piece there. And then like bishop e5 check. All right, thanks for the game. Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to be back Sunday for a simul, 6:30 CET. I'm going to raid the Schieberspieler now. If I could spell it. See you guys on Sunday. Bye-bye. That's weird. He has a YouTube channel too. Oh. That's weird. Alright, export.